Fake productivity refers to working on tasks that keep you busy and give the feel of getting things done, but which don't meaningfully advance your business goal. It's been called the illusion of productivity. The powerful temptation to fill the time with tasks that feel important but really aren't. Entrepreneurs often fall into this trap because focusing on comfortable, low impact activities as a way to avoid the difficult or risky work that truly drive growth. As one author admits, he used to maintain inbox zero, meticulously each day thinking it was crucial when in reality he was avoiding the truly hard things I need to be doing. In short, fake productivity is being busy for the sake of being busy. Working hard but on the wrong things. These are the strong psychological reasons behind this behavior. One is a task avoidance due to fear of failure, fear of rejection, or discomfort. It's often easier to trick your website or reorganize files than to say call a tough customer or launch an unproven product. Research on overplanning find it make you feel like you're making progress, but it allows you to avoid the uncertainty, risk, and fear of actually starting. By obsessively planning or polishing, entrepreneurs can hide from vulnerability or potential failure. Another reason is our brain love of quick dopamine hits. Finishing small and easy tasks like cleaning email, posting a new tweet, release a bit of dopamine. Giving a sense of reward, we naturally gravitate towards this easy, tangible, productive feeling task. Checking email, tidying up, scrolling, and commenting on social media because they are instantly gratifying. But when faced with higher value tasks, they are immediately rewarding. Our brain gets anxious and try to steer us back to the quick fix busy work. In a sense, fake productivity seduces entrepreneurs by providing short-term comfort and confidence. Those through busy work and information gathering, while postponing the harder actions that actually move the needle. Entrepreneurs can easily fill their day with activities that look and even feel productive, but produce little real outcome. Some classic examples include overplanning and researching instead of executing. It's wise to plan, but obviously refining plans or doing endless research can become analysis paralysis. For instance, spending weeks perfecting a business plan and studying every market statistic without ever reaching out to a single customer is fake productivity. Overplanning is often a form of procrastination. It happens when you spend a lot of time thinking about what you're going to do, but never quite doing the thing. It gives a false sense of progress while weeks go by with no real results. This usually stems from the perfectionist and wanting control, trying to know everything in advance, which is impossible, and waste more time than just starting would. In short, planning become a crutch. Become a crutch. It feels safe, but nothing actually gets done. As one productive coach notes, overplanning simply allows you to hide from taking action and risking failure, perfecting minor details that don't impact revenue. This is the entrepreneur. So another example, perfecting minor details that don't impact revenue. This is the entrepreneur fusing over the logo colors, tweaking website font for the 10th time, rearranging the office desk layout, core business task language. Pursuing perfection in low-value detail is common trap for those who with perfectionism streaks. They might spend hours polishing something that is good enough, chasing diminishing return, but nothing will ever be perfect. As one author reminds us, all that energy spent perfecting minor details is time not spent on activities actually generated customer income. Often 80% quality now meet 100% quality too late. Often 80% quality now meets 100% quality late. In fact, billionaire Reid Hoffman famously said, if you aren't embarrassed by the first version of your product, you shipped too late. The takeaway, obsessing over trivial tricks is fake. Productivity over trivial tricks is fake productivity because it produces very little relative benefit. Sometimes good is good enough when it comes to non-critical details. Then, other example, excessive social media posting. A clear monetization strategy. Many entrepreneurs stay busy churning out social media posts, blog posts, and video in the name of marketing. But not all activity lead to revenue. Posting multiple times a day and responding to every comment feel like work, but there is no strategy to convert them into customer. It's likely performative. Yeah, maybe. A cautionary example is a company that ran a viral campaign, gaining 60,000 new followers, a big boost in likes. Yet it did not lead to the sales lift that we had planned. The CEO of Blunted noted that brand awareness alone did not help the bottom line. In other words, a share doesn't help the business if nobody cares about the business, if it doesn't translate to sales. Spending hours on content for vanity metrics is fake productivity, unless those efforts tie back to lead generation or customer engagement that produce revenue. Sorry. Unnecessary. So another example. We have 2 more to go. Another example. Unnecessary meeting and administrative businesses. Entrepreneurs also fall into the trap of constant meeting and calls, routine admin that eat up hours but accomplish very little. Think of standing meeting with no clear agenda, solo founder spending half an hour a day bookkeeping, organizing file, tricking with productivity tools. A survey reported that the average entrepreneur spends more than third, about 36% of their work week on small administrative tasks. Things like invoicing, expense logging, scheduling, data entry. That's over 2 full days per week of lost to busy work. In a workplace context, this is called performative productivity. Doing things larger to appear busy. Common examples include excessive meeting with little to no tangible outcome, prioritizing tasks that make one look busy rather than focusing on important high-impact tasks. Entrepreneurs or solopreneurs often overload themselves with these low-level tasks because everything follows them. But many of those tasks could be detached, simplified, and delegated. Ask yourself, was that 1 hour long meeting or inbox purge really necessary? Just filling your time. Then, final example, and we move on. Learning without implementing. Education as procrastination. Ambitious founders often try to study their way to success by consuming books, course, podcast, webinar. Continuous learning is positive until it becomes an excuse to delay execution. Consuming information can turn into a feel-good activity that doesn't directly create value. As leader coach Jenny Ahmed observes, the learning you take in for that someday keeps you from taking action today. The key to success is not in the learning. It's in the implementation of selected learning. Too many entrepreneurs fall into compulsive information consumption, driven by fear they'll miss something, or driven by the fear that they'll miss something, or not good enough yet. They attend one more seminar, watch YouTube tutorial, endlessly refine their skill on minor things instead of launching and learning by doing. The result information overload that actually paralyze action. As Mitchell Gerber, the author of The E-Myth, noted, business don't fail for lack of ideas or knowledge, but for the failure to take the good idea and put it into action. In short, knowledge without execution is just a form of procrastination. Really, progress comes from implementing and iterating, not endless study theory. Not endlessly studying theory. That's tough to speak. So I need to practice that, I believe, a little bit. Why it's so dangerous to stay busy but not productive? Falling into this pattern of fake productivity can be hazardous for an entrepreneur and their businesses. The danger include, first, we are going to see a multiple. There is 3. Opportunity cost. Wasted time, missed opportunities. Time spent on low-impact busy work is time not spent on high-impact growth activities. Every entrepreneur has a limited time number of hours or energy each day. If you pour those hours into tasks that don't generate revenue or move your strategy forward, the cost is enormous. In the aggregate, consider that one survey found entrepreneurs typically work 45 to 50 hours a week, but one third of that, 36%, as we said earlier, goes into busy admin tasks. This means that 15 to 18 hours weekly of potentially misallocated time, hours that could have been spent making marketing content, spending on marketing, product development, or sales goals that bring in new business over weeks and months. These opportunity costs show up as a slower growth or even no growth. In fact, data shows that those who break free of this trap reap the reward. Entrepreneurship identifies that as expert delegators, alligators, who offload trivial tasks, were far more likely to see revenue growth in their business than those who tried to do everything themselves. Delegators saw their revenue growth grow by 143% on average versus 80% for the non-delegators. A dramatic illustration that focusing on the right thing pay off. The conclusion is clear. Time spent on the wrong work is not neutral. It's a direct loss of potential outcome. The illusion of progress versus the real momentum. I'm thinking that actually each of those can be a really nice short. They're just insane. Illusion of progress versus real momentum. Fake productivity lures you into false sense of accomplishment. You check off 10 minor those clean your inbox, refine pitch deck font, and end the day feeling productive. Even though you haven't acquired a single new customer or improved your product, it's activity versus achievement gaps. As one observer put it bluntly, most of us aren't as busy as we think we are. We just fill our time with low effort, low impact tasks that make us feel productive. This illusion of progress is dangerous because it can mask stagnation. An entrepreneur might wonder why revenue isn't growing. I'm working so hard without realizing they have been focusing on the wrong thing. Is being rocking on in a rocking chair, a lot of motion, not move, a lot of motion, but no forward movement. Meanwhile, competitors who focus on true prioritizing sprint ahead. This trap is the entrepreneur's biggest enemy because it's insidious. You think you're doing everything you can, but you are really treading waters. I don't even know what that means. Over time, this can lead to market opportunity and business falling behind, all while the founder was proudly busy the whole time. Burnout is next. Moving on. Burnout with little to show for it. That's a big issue that I have. Perhaps the cruelest aspect of fake productivity is that it can lead to exhaustion without meaningful result. Working long hours on any endeavor takes physical and mental toll. But when those hours are spent on non-rewarding busy tasks, the eventual burnout is accompanied by a sense of frustration and demoralization. Why am I not further ahead after all this effort? Many entrepreneurs today clock 50 to 60 hours a week, some even glorify being always busy, but if much of that effort is misdirected, the risk of burning out while the business stay flat. They risk burning out while the business stay flat. In the survey mentioned above, nearly a third of founders work over 50 hours a week, yet that was consumed by trivial tasks. It is easy to see how that could lead to exhaustion. Busy work can be especially draining because it often lacks feeling of real accomplishment. You end the day tired but aware deep down that you didn't move the needle. This disconnect can sap your motivation over time. Moreover, a culture of performance hustle, I must look busy all the time, can push entrepreneurs into unhealthy overwork. They might sacrifice sleep or weekends to keep up the appearance of productivity, which only accelerates the burnout. The end result can be severe. The entrepreneur feels stressed, depleted, and creativity suffer. And ironically, the capacity to genuine high-level work diminish because they are so burned out. An entrepreneur experiences burnout after endless busy work. When you are working 12 hours a day, not yet seeing potential results, it's a red flag that much of your effort may be misfocused. The wear and tear of busy work is very real. You might grind yourself down with late night organizing spreadsheet or posting social media, but that grind isn't yielding the growth or revenue that energize you. Over time, this can kill passion for your business. It's important to remember that being busy is not the same as being productive. In fact, chronic businesses can be chronic busyness can be a form of laziness. It's avoiding the tough strategy choice to build sustainable businesses and avoid burning out. You must regularly pause and ask, are these activity actually moving me forward, or am I just running in place? Now we are going to see a perspective of Alex Hormozi about real versus fake productivity. Entrepreneur and investor Alex Hormozi has spoken extensively about how founders should manage their time and priorities. Essentially, how to be truly productive and avoid fake work. One of Alex Hormozi's core principles is focusing on high leverage tasks and ruthlessly eliminating delegating low value tasks. His word is, the less you do, the more you make. This striking phrase doesn't mean being lazy. It means doing fewer, more important things rather than trying to do everything. Alex Hormozi emphasized that entrepreneurs should identify the few actions that drive the majority of the growth, the 20% that yield 80% of the result, and spend much of that time as possible on those while outsourcing or ignoring the rest. He warned that every minute you spend on something that could be done by someone else or by a tool is a minute away from the strategic work that only you, the founder, can do. In practical terms, how he often talks about focusing on $1,000 per hour activity, the task that truly grows a business, and buy back your time from everything else. Not bad idea. To operationalize this, Hormozi, along with his wife and CEO Leila Hormozi, advocate for a framework of categorizing tasks by their value. Leila described it as the $10, $100, and $1,000 task frameworks. The idea is to classify your activities, $10 task, $10 task, or the tasks that low skill, repetitive tasks that add minimum value, scheduling meeting, data entry, basic admin. This should be delegated and automated as much as possible. $100 task. Those tasks require some skill or creativity but aren't the core to your role. Drafting routine emails, managing social media posts, basic graphic design. These can often be delegated to a team member or a contractor after you provided initial guidance. $1,000 tasks or the high impact task, strategic tasks that directly affect the growth and only you as a founder or CEO can do well. For example, developing your product strategy, closing big sales deals, negotiating patterns a partnership, devising marketing angles that set you apart. These are the tasks that you should personally prioritize and protect on your calendar. By assuming national dollar value to task, by assigning by assigning notional dollar value to tasks, Hormozi train entrepreneurs to think in terms of leverage. If you find yourself spending afternoon on $10, $100 task, that's a signal. To that's a signal to hand those off so you can concentrate on $1,000 tasks higher. As he put it, every hour you spend on $10 task is costing you an hour you could spend on a $1,000 task. His approach to productivity is essentially value-based time management. This mirrors the Pareto principle and other productivity wisdom, but he framed it in monetary terms. Founders understand wealth. Hormozi also share. Let's scroll a little bit. Hormozi also share how he structures his businesses to minimize fake productivity. In his host company, which have scaled to tens of millions of revenue, he and his team practice aggressively delegation. He notes that many entrepreneurs have control issue and hesitate to delegate. There is a survey confirms that 12% admit to trust issue delegating and 7% to control issue, but probably much higher than that. But overcoming that is key to unlock growth. Hormozi's philosophy is that a founder should constantly ask, am I the only person who can do this task? And does it drive the business forward? If the answer to either is no, find someone else to do it. He often reminds peers that the goal to build a company that doesn't require the founder to touch anything. He often reminds peers that the goal to build a company is that to build a company that doesn't require the founder to touch anything. What he called an unbreakable business that isn't solely dependent on you. One way to achieve this is by hiring virtual assistant or team member for specialized role as soon as feasible to free the founders from day-to-day minutiae. As a blog inspired by Alex Hormozi sum up, focus on what you can only do, leave the rest to the skilled VAs, virtual assistant, and invest. This is essentially buying you back your time. Hormozi view outsourcing not as a cost but as an investment. Build wealth is about achieving freedom. Outsourcing is one of the most efficient ways to get there because it gives you the freedom to spend time on growth opportunity instead of wheels. A real example of Alex Hormozi productivity philosophy can be seen in how he and Leila reportedly manage their schedule. They calculate the high-value tasks of their time and hire a personal assistant. Early to take over tasks like managing calendar, booking travels, and filtering email. By doing so, they freed themselves to focus on sales, content creation, and strategy, which rapidly grew their fitness business. Alex Hormozi bluntly states that if a task doesn't directly grow the bottom line, he is looking to delegate it. This approach maximizes your output on high leverage work and minimize time spent on busy work. Is a big reason it could scale multiple companies quickly. It's aligned with his quote above, doing less personally by achieving more. Focusing for entrepreneurs struggling with fake productivity, Alex Hormozi's approach is a good model. Identify your highest value contribution, double down on those, and systematically remove yourself from everything else. It is not about working more hours, it's about making each hours count significantly more. I'm just testing, honestly, I'm just testing new format of content. I don't know what's going to work or not. This is pretty much the same video that you've seen yesterday, it's just that I'm reading the complete reports that I've created. The video yesterday was just a kind of a shorter version of it because we're already 30 minutes in. But I wanted to, because I see that this report I've built is kind of really good already by itself. I just don't know how to make a good video out of it. Because that's a lot of very interesting information, and so I really want to make something good out of it. I don't know yet how. I don't know if just talking like this is something interesting. Tell me if there is anyone still listening here. So anyway, let's continue. We are almost done. Almost. Yeah, almost. Promise. 45 minutes maybe? Okay, that's a 45 minutes video probably. How to escape fake productivity traps. Breaking free from faux productivity require a combination of mindset shift and tactical change. Entrepreneurs need to retain themselves to work smarter, not just harder, focusing on what's truly driven growth and shedding or delegating the rest. Here are several actionable strategies that to escape fake productivity traps. Applying the 80-20 rule of Pareto principle. Focus on the vital fews. The 80-20 posits that roughly, there is a lot of English terms that I don't know, that roughly 80% of your result come from the 80-20 rules postits that roughly 80% of your results come from 20% of your activities. To escape a busy work, you must identify that the critical 20% of your business. That's the key task, client, or projects that generate most revenue or progress, and prioritizing them relentlessly. As an example, Elon Musk is said to manage his workday in 5-minute increments to ensure he spends time only on the high-impact tasks that yield outsized results. He asks, what's going to bring me the biggest result in the limited time I have available, and choose to tackle those things first. You don't need to emulate Musk's extreme schedule, but the principles stand. Figure out which few tasks drive the majority of your business outcome and schedule those first. Cut down and postpone the rest. Remember, 80% of your company profit typically come from only 20% of its activity. Your job is to know what those activities are, perhaps sales calls, new product feature, nurturing top client, and make them your core focus. They may also mean saying no more often, declining opportunities or tasks that don't align with the critical 20%, but by ruthlessly prioritizing your convert businesses into real productivity. Prioritizing revenue and generating activities. The first trap was to escape the first trap, 80-20 principle, and then move on to the second, which is prioritize to avoid the fake productivity trap. Prioritizing revenue generating activity, sales, marketing, product improvement, customer experience. At the end of the day, a business survives and grows through sales, innovation, customer satisfaction. Peter Drucker famously said, business has only two functions, marketing and innovation. Everything else is a support cost to avoid fake works. To avoid fake works. Orient your day around the activities that create value for customer and bring revenue. This could mean spending more time talking to customers, improving the product based on feedback, creating effective marketing strategy, and closing deals. And less time on internal report, vanity metric, or administrative chore. Ask yourself each morning, what can I do that will either increase sales, improve my products and services, or strengthen my customer loyalty? Those are almost always the highest leverage move. For example, instead of polishing your slide deck again and again, an entrepreneur should maybe use that hour to call a hot lead or follow up with a past client. Sometimes that directly affects income. By consistently choosing impact over appearance, you ensure your efforts translate into tangible forward momentum. The more revenue user where was I? Here. Everything else? No. Sometimes that directly affects income. By consistently choosing high impact over appearance, you ensure your effort translates to tangible forward momentum, more revenue, more users, not just activity. One practical tip is to identify your MICE, most important tasks, each day or weeks. The few tasks that have the biggest business impact, and tackle them first while your energy is highest. Treat busy work as secondary. If it must get done, do it after the critical task or delegate it, reminding yourself activities is not accomplishment. Only revenue and measurable results will ultimately validate your effort. Next, to avoid traps. Using time blocking and deep work to protect focus. Anyway, let's continue. A great way to escape shallow, busy work is to schedule dedicated blocks of deep value, high value work. Separate from reactive tasks instead of letting your day get eaten. Instead of getting your day get eaten. Instead of getting your day get eaten. Something I've been thinking is each of those little bullet points that I'm reading could make a very good short. I don't know. Let's say I'm going to wait for the 40-minute mark. I'm testing stuff, I know you're not listening to me. Don't get mad. So, 3, 2, 1, go. Use time block and deep work to protect focus. A great way to escape shallow and busy work is to schedule dedicated block for deep, high-value work. Separate from reactive tasks instead of letting your day get eaten up by emails, interruption, or designate certain hours for maker's time, strategic, creative, analytical work, or cluster the smaller errand into a manager time. For instance, you might reserve 8 to 10 hours for writing code, designing new features, crafting marketing strategy. With no email no, or phone notification on. Then handle email and call at 11 a.m. This approach supported by many experts diving your day between creative work and operational deep work. Allow deeper focus to help avoid burnout. Cal Newport, author of Deep Work, and others suggest that even 2 to 3 hours of truly focused work on important tasks can produce more value than 8 hours of fragmented multitasking. By time blocking, you also prevent fake productivity activities from blending into all your prime hours. For example, if you allocate 30 minutes in the late afternoon to admin tidying, you won't unconsciously spend the whole morning on it. Use techniques like turning off notification, spending specific time to check communication, and even creating rules. No meeting before noon. To ensure you get undistracted time from the real needle movers. This helps break the addiction to constant context switching, which often is just procrastination in disguise. Often, over time, you will retain yourself to get satisfaction from meaningful progress in deep work rather than the dopamine hit you're answering another slam ping. Okay, 2 minutes, 12. Okay, that's a little long for short. I mean, maybe the halfway point, but that's definitely something interesting. I have more than enough value to provide to make a short. Okay, that's interesting. So it means that just one report might generate a shit ton of shorts, actually. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Anyway, moving on. Then delegate is automatic and dropping the task, the $10 task. If you find yourself doing a task that a junior employee, virtual assistant, this is a little bit redundant to be honest, but anyway, virtual assistant, please stop and hand it off. Escaping fake productivity often means letting go of the urge to do something, to do everything yourself. As mentioned earlier, classify your to-dos by approximating value. Many administrative or repetitive tasks can be inexpensively outsourced today. Bookkeeping as part of many administrative tasks or repetitive tasks can be inexpensively outsourced today. Bookkeeping to a part-time accountant, routing customer inquiry to a freelancer or chatbot, data entry to automation tools. If you are a solo operation, even hiring a virtual assistant a few hours a week to handle scheduling or social media posting can free up crucial time. It might feel hard to justify any expense in the early stage, but remember the earlier statistics. Founders who delegate saw more significantly higher revenue growth. It pays itself. Even within small businesses, empower your team members to take ownership of support tasks. Perhaps you, as a founder, don't need to be the one preparing the weekly status report or ordering office supply. Your time is better spent elsewhere. Learn to trust others with tasks that are not in your zone of genius. If something can be delegated, consider if it can be streamlined or cut entirely. Are you doing certain report or meeting out of habit when they are no longer providing value? Cancel them or make them less frequent by continuously pruning low-value activities. Cancel them and make them less frequent by continuously pruning low-value activities through delegation and elimination. You reclaim hours in your week that can be reinvested into growth activities or even rest, which ultimately improve your productivity too. As Alex Amedi remind entrepreneurs, every task you shouldn't be doing is stealing time from what you should be doing. So take an honest audit of your task and start offloading. Aggressively hit one of the fastest way to escape the fake productivity vortex. Okay, no, I don't want to develop an execution first mindset. Okay, whatever. That's kind of the same. Then case study. I want to do it. Let's go directly to the conclusion, shall we? The hidden trap of fake productivity unearths many many entrepreneurs, but it's a trap. You can escape it. It starts with awareness, recognizing when you are doing something just to feel busy or because you are avoiding a scarier task. Once you shine a light on those tendencies, you can systematically change those approaches. Remember, that kind of busy is not the same as being productive. Productivity should be measured in outcomes, sales made, products launched, problems solved, not hours or tasks completed. By leveraging principles like the 80-20 rules, focusing on high revenue driven work, scheduling deep work, delegating low value tasks, and biasing toward action, you can ensure that your effort translates into real results. Break your fake productivity habit may feel uncomfortable at first. It often means confronting fear of failure, of imperfection, and letting go of tasks you used to cling on. But the reward is freedom, more time and energy to devote to building an impactful and profitable business, and often more time as well as more personal time as well, because you are no longer grinding on trivialities at midnight. As Alex Hormozi and others taught, the goal is to be effective, not just efficient. 5 hours of truly strategic work can outweigh 50 hours of miscellaneous busy work. I don't know what that means. So the next time you catch yourself color coding your spreadsheet for hours or scrolling entrepreneurs' Twitters in the same name of research, stop and ask, what could I be doing right now that would make a real difference for my business? Then, what's the discipline to pivot that high-value tasks? Over time, this habit will replace fake productivity with real productivity. You'll start seeing momentum, that satisfying feeling when the important things are actually getting done. The business is moving forward. In entrepreneurship, progress is the ultimate goal, and freeing yourself from fake productivity is how you achieve it. Thanks you for watching, and I'll see you next time.